It's now time for Trivia Tracks with yours truly, Price Robertson. This edition of Trivia Tracks is brought to you by Beth Smith at Edward Jones and by ProMed Ambulance Services. Considered one of the last true shooters in professional wrestling, Thesz was a three-time NWA World Heavyweight Champion and held the title for a combined total of 10 years, 3 months, and 9 days, longer than anyone else in history. In fact, he is arguably considered the greatest pro wrestler of the 20th century. Aloysius Martin Thesz was born in the small town of Banat, Michigan on April 24, 1916. His family moved to St. Louis when he was a young boy. As his parents immigrated from the Austro-Hungarian Empire, Thesz and his three sisters grew up speaking German at home, and he did not start learning English until he entered kindergarten at age 5. Thesz's father was a national Greco-Roman wrestling middleweight champion in his native Hungary and introduced Lou to the sport as a young boy. At 8 years old, Lou began a tough and thorough education under his father, which provided the fundamentals for his later success. He trained under his father's guidance for several years until transitioning to folk-style wrestling in high school, where he successfully competed on his team. He also trained in boxing as a teenager. He dropped out of high school by age 14 to work at his father's shoe repair business and began training in freestyle wrestling. He soon studied under catch wrestlers George Tragos and Ed Santel, and even trained at England's Snake Pit. He received even further training under Ed Strangler Lewis, whom Thesz once challenged in a friendly contest. Debuting professionally at age 17, Thesz started out working in undercard matches. By 1937, Thesz had become one of the biggest stars of the St. Louis territory, defeating Everett Marshall for the American Wrestling Association, that's the Boston version, World Heavyweight Championship in a grueling 3-hour match. The first of many World Heavyweight titles. In 1948, the NWA was formed, and Thesz promotion was absorbed into the new enterprise. Between 1949 and 1956, Thesz set out to unify all the existing world titles into the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. By 1957, he had already become an established star within the NWA, successfully challenging the likes of Edouard Carpentier and Ricky Dozan. Realizing he could make more money in the land of the rising sun, Thesz petitioned to the NWA's promoters to regularly defend the championship belt in Japan, but his request was turned down. Thesz asked to drop the title to his own handpicked champion, Dick Hutton, rather than his real-life rival, Buddy Rogers. Thesz would embark on a tour of Europe and Japan, billing himself as the NWA International Heavyweight Champion. Among his many accomplishments in wrestling, Thesz is credited with inventing a number of professional wrestling moves and holds, such as the belly-to-back waistlock suplex, later known as the German suplex due to association with Karl Gotch, the Thesz press, the step-over-toe hold facelock, and the original powerbomb. In 1963, at age 46, Thesz came out of semi-retirement to win his 6th World Heavyweight Championship from Buddy Rogers. He wrestled on a part-time basis over the next 13 years. In 1979, Thesz fought Luke Graham in what was billed as his retirement match, though he continued to wrestle periodically through the 80s. He finally wrestled his last public match in December 1990 in Japan. The 74-year-old Thesz was pitted against his protege, Masahiro Chono. This makes him one of only 2 male professional wrestlers, the other being Abdullah the Butcher, to wrestle in 7 different decades. He remained involved in the wrestling industry the years after that, serving as promoter, trainer, and special guest referee. He was critical of modern-day pro wrestling, which he called choreographed tumbling, but praised the popularity of mixed martial arts, comparing it to his early days as a competitive catch wrestler. Thesz remained in remarkable physical condition in his older years, but after undergoing triple bypass surgery for an aortic valve replacement on April 9, 2002, he died due to complications weeks later on April 28th, 4 days after his 86th birthday. In 1999, the George Tragos Thesz Professional Wrestling Hall of Fame was founded, honoring wrestlers with a strong amateur background who made an impact on professional wrestling. Those who trained under Thesz include Bruiser Brody, Dory Funk Jr., Nick Bockwinkel, Jumbo Tsuruta, Mark Fleming, the aforementioned Dick Hutton, Gene LaBelle, and the aforementioned Masahiro Chono. Till next time, I'm Price Robertson. Amazed by today's trivia? Then join me for Trivia Tracks weekdays at 6:45 on Everybody's Country Y95.